there. Just pulled this pie out of the oven. Glad you could join me. Today we're making blueberry pie. It's a pie you can make whenever you want, because pie is anytime dessert. It can also be frozen and baked later if you feel like doing the work now and not reaping the rewards. It's kind of heartbreaking. My favorite thing to do is to take regular blueberries and wild blueberries and combine them together. Starting with some fresh blueberries. You can pick these up at your farmer's market when they're in season, or you can just buy them at the supermarket if you're most of Middle America. Wild blueberries are extremely delicious, and they have a fantastic ratio of skin to juice, which makes them extra flavorful. And so adding just a small amount into a fresh blueberry pie can really create some cool depth of flavor and dimension. It's really just kind of a magic fix for blueberry pie. When you're working with frozen fruit, don't drain off the liquid. It belongs in the fruit because it's frozen and thawed and the liquid has been released. A little bit of lemon juice, a little bit of salt, small bit of coriander. Coriander is a super magical spice when it comes to blueberries. They share an essential oil. So by combining a little bit of coriander in the blueberries, you kind of bring out a little bit more of their lemony brightness without it tasting spicy. Give these a rough fold to combine. Next, gonna add some sugar. Now we're gonna add some tapioca starch. Tapioca has a very low gelatinization point, which means you don't have to cook the filling as long or as hard to get it to thicken, and it behaves very differently from cornstarch. So if you're thinking, oh, I don't have any tapioca, I'll just use cornstarch instead, it's not gonna work. Your pie's gonna be soup. And then just toss to combine, and then just keep going until everything's well coated. I'm gonna grab the pie dough that I've previously made and rolled out and refrigerated for 2 hours. That helps it be cold. It's a coldifying behavior that we see in a lot of pastries, which is really the height of professional pastry journalism. It's nice and relaxed and cool, like me. Just put this into this. So we're gonna scrape the blueberry filling into the pie. I'm going to spread them all out into an even layer. This is the top crust that's been refrigerating for 2 or more hours. And then I'm just gonna slide it out of there and onto here. For the lattice, I'm going to use a ruler to cut it into little strips. Once you've cut all the lattice strips, it's really helpful to count up how many strips you have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.5. And that way you know how many strips you can lay either way. So I'm gonna go for 7 strips either way. Then what I do after this point is I find the ones that have a lot of overhang and I cut them so I can use these pieces elsewhere to get a better or more complete coverage. Like here, for example. Pulling 2 back, leaving 2 down, pulling 2 back, leaving 2 down. So then we're gonna get 2 strips of lattice here. Guys back across. As long as we make it work and we can cover it up, it doesn't matter that we're cheating. It's all about cheating. I'm just gonna come along and crimp the edges down just to form an even seal. So what I'm doing is just making sure that the top crust fully meets the pie plate all the way around and just kind of like smushing them together, and this creates a seal. And you could take a fork or something and go around the edges and do a similar effect, but I'm just doing it with my hands to keep it kind of smooth instead of having a crimped design. We're sealed, we've done it. And at this point, I'm gonna pop this into the refrigerator for about 30 minutes. It's been manipulated with your hands, it's been warmed slightly, it's gonna not hold a very clean shape, so it's important to just chill it back down for a little bit before popping it in the oven. We're gonna egg wash this pie, which is just a way to shellac it so that it turns out golden and beautiful. I like to do an egg-heavy egg wash. So I use a whole egg. That's a great sound. 1 yolk, a little bit of cream, and a pinch of salt. Salt is actually the most important ingredient in any egg wash. It's what helps the proteins brown. So make sure you are generous with the salt. And it also tastes good. You really want to whisk this up nicely so that it spreads over the pie without being a gloppy mess. This is the pie that we've had chilling for the past 30 minutes. I want to be generous but not overboard, so I'm gonna just kind of shellac the whole thing and make sure it gets into all the nooks and crannies. You don't want it to be like gloppy, but you don't want to be stingy about it either. Always bake fruit pies on a half sheet pan lined with something. I like to use parchment because it's natural and normal for it to bubble a little bit. You want to catch it and not have it burn on the bottom of your oven, and putting some parchment or foil down will make it easier to clean your sheet pan. To the oven. No, that looks good. If you like flaky crust and like bubbly blueberry stuff, it's gonna be amazing. You have a delicious pie in your kitchen. The scent of wild blueberries has filled the air and you desperately want to slice it open. But the problem is tapioca starch does not begin to thicken the pie until it cools below 80 degrees. So if you cut it at any time above that temperature, it's gonna be a runny hot mess. Don't put it on a trivet or something where air is passing underneath it, because air is a very poor conductor of temperature. Transfer the pie directly to a marble slab. Every 20 minutes or so, just scoot the pie to a new zone so that it can begin cooling anew. Move it around, gets colder. This is the proper scooting technique that we're going to demonstrate here today. Just begin by scooting the pie. In layman's terms, scoot on through. Keep scooting.